So since Polytoria is getting more and more famous every day, I thought I would make a video about the scripting differences between Roblox and Polytoria and show you more around its creator and how the game works itself. So first, I suspect you already know how to open the game and everything. If you don't, here you go to create and click launch creator. Right here you are met with this screen, which has a similar to Roblox layout. We have the toolbox, which isn't loading right now. Then we have the toolbar right here, which has select, move and everything. Then we have the explorer, which has the game part. Then we have the properties down here. Okay, so now to the scripting. So you can see we have a script add-on here. However, I recommend you to use here insert scripting, and here you have all the scripting related stuff. So let's start by adding a normal server-side script. Okay, you can see the script has inserted in the script service, which is where you generally want to keep all your scripts in, probably all the time. You know, I think they also work in environment, but I recommend you to use this. So to open the file, we just double click it. Right. And if it doesn't open up for you, you probably don't have some text editor installed. I recommend you to use a Visual Studio Code. It's free, it's good. And then it should ask you, when you double click it, to set the file association for Lua files. And if it doesn't ask you and it doesn't open, just search up how to change the file association for .lua files on your system, and then restart the creator and try again. It should probably open. Also, if you have downloaded Visual Studio Code, I recommend you to download this extension, which has Lua snippets to your game. So instead of writing game environment by hand, you just type environment, boom, it does it for you. Same for inputs. I want to do key down, boom, it creates the enter function for me. So that's a very cool plugin, and if you want to make your life easier, I recommend you to download it. Of course, there is not everything, so you still have to guide by the documentation or the Discord server help, but it definitely helps when making games on Polytoria. Okay, so we have the script now. So the first big difference is accessing the objects. So in Roblox you do a game, a workspace, that part, and you want to change the color, so you just go like this to color. But you don't do that in Polytoria, because in Polytoria we use bracket as instead of the dots to access the objects. So if I wanted to access a part, let's call it brick for now, yeah. It's in environment, so I'm just going to game, environment, and now I want to access the brick, so brick, exactly like this. You only use the dots when you're accessing the properties. So let's say I want to, I don't know, change the name, so I just go that name, so part. Yes, the dots are always used when accessing the property. When you're accessing another object, you always use the brackets. Another way to access the objects in the game is using find child or find child by class. I'm going to use find child and get a brick, that name, something. It works the same way as doing exactly this. So yeah, there is no wait for child or find first child. There is find child or this for now. So that's the big first difference we have here. Another difference is that there are no services, but instead there are static classes. I recommend you to use the docs polytoria.com documentation, because this has everything you ever need. It's not perfect, there's a lot of stuff missing. A new documentation is in the works, but for now it's more than enough. And you do not use any game gets service or whatever it's in Roblox. Here you access it directly by the name. So if I wanna, for example, give an achievement to someone, I don't call anything. I just write achievements, award, and then the rest of the function. There is no get service, anything like this. And the same applies for any other static class. For example, JSON is a good example. We can show that. So I want to go print, serialize. I want to serialize a table. 1, 2, 3. So yeah, this is how you use static classes. Now testing the game. You can press F5 or you can go to tools and test game. It will launch the client. What you definitely want to use when debugging scripts in your game is F8, which opens the debug console. As you can see, the output of this thing is printed right here. Okay, so another huge difference is when using like vectors or colors and everything like this, because there's a minor differences. For example, when you go vector 3, you probably write like new that 1, 2, 3, something like this. But here you have to capitalize the first letter, so like N, like this, because it might cause errors when you don't capitalize it. The same goes for every data type, so for example vector 2, color, and etc. No, I haven't used Roblox in a long time, but if you want to tween something in Roblox, it would probably look like this. You know, you have to complete it, wait, which yields a script, and then runs completed. In Polytoria, we don't really have that. Instead, we have callbacks. So what are callbacks? So callbacks are when a function completes, it calls another function. So in this case, it calls this function, which prints completed. You know, it's in the function. However, you can change it to like on complete and make a function like a function on complete, something like this, you know. So that's a huge difference between these two. Let me delete the Roblox code, and this is the tweening. Another huge difference is when you want to access the character of the player. In Polytoria, we don't have any player.character or character edit, anything like this. We don't have humanoid root parts. There is no humanoid. You access all the player properties directly on the player. Even if it's a character property, you access it on the player. So this is something you would do in Roblox to access the health. I think it's on the humanoid. I'm not sure right now, but in Polytoria, you simply do this. Very easy. Yes. Of course, in a where the player isn't null. It is null right now, so it won't print anything. But I'm saying it applies the same for the like position, or what else is there? I don't know, torso color, and stuff like this. So here I have a simple player edit event, which fires when the player joins, and I want to teleport the player to the break when he joins. Of course, there is a spawn, so you don't have to do that in the scripting way. It sets the spawn point for you, but for the purpose of this video, let's just make it the scripting way. So to access the player, I just do player.position. You see, I didn't use any character here, and let's go environment break position. That teleports it to the player. And I always add like vector 3 new 030, so it doesn't get teleported right in the middle of the part and like 3 starts more up, so it doesn't get stuck in the part. Another thing is remote events, remote functions, and all this kind of stuff. In Polytoria, we don't call it remote events, we call it network events. To add a network event, you can go to scripting, and here we have a network event. It works the same way like remote event in Roblox. I won't go into depth in this video of how it works, but you can use the documentation. It's kind of similar. The only difference is that you have to use netmessage to send the information. And also be cautious of the data types right here. So if you want to send like an integer, you go add number instead of add string. Here, if we click on that message, you can see all the different methods you can use for the data types. Of course, the same applies when receiving the message, for example, on the client. You want to use the same. If you use like add string, you have to use get string. If you use like get, I don't know, number, it will error, it will not work. So you have to keep the data types together the same when sending the message. Of course, you can also add like more key and values to the message. So for example, I can like another 20 lines of this, of course with a different key, and also you can also add like add string, add vector 3, add instance or something like this, and then just send it, invoke server with the message in there. If you're looking for an alternative for network events, we have newly added signals. which is pretty self-explanatory. You have invoked and invoke, nothing too hard, of course. If you don't want to use signal, there is a janky way of doing this. You can use a call function on the script itself, where you supply first is the function name. So foo in this case would be something like function foo, and the second parameter is the argument, but I really don't think this is used that much anymore. So another thing I think is worth mentioning is Game.Rendered. So while in Roblox you will do something like this to get the render step function, in Polytoria you do Game.Rendered connect function delta time, and this works exactly the same way like render step or any similar function you used in Roblox. Anyways, back to the insert menu, we have also LocalScripts and ModuleScripts. LocalScripts run on the client, server scripts run on the server. Client is you, the player, your own machine, and the server is the server that's hosting it. Then we have ModuleScripts, which is like a library. You can use both in local and server scripts. You can use ModuleScripts to keep like data in it or functions. You know, if you have a function you use like 20 times across like 5 different scripts, you can make a function like this. I use this a lot. I don't know what it does, probably like print something, return true for example, and in the script you want to use it for, you can go my module for example, require, where is it, script parent, again bracket to access the module script. And here I can call my module that, how did I name it? I use this a lot. This would print. As you can see, it prints in the console, again F8 to open the dev console. It printed, it returned true. Also there is a bug, as you may have noticed. It prints twice. No, the script doesn't run twice, it just prints twice. The script runs only once. But this is a bug for a long time, and since the new client is releasing, I don't think this will be fixed anytime soon, but don't get confused by that. Also, another bug here is the error messages. You can see already line -1. What the hell is that? The module scripts don't really like work for debugging in the debug console, so be cautious of that. Also, sometimes when you like make a mistake in a normal script as well, it will print the wrong line, so you have to subtract by like 5 or 6 lines back to get your original error. It's also very confusing, but it shouldn't happen that much. Okay, so I hope I covered everything in this video. Anyways, be sure to join the Discord server, the Polytoria Discord server, where we have a development section. You can ask different stuff. Also the Polytoria Dev Hub, where many members here will help you. You can also share your scripting creations and all of this stuff. Also, again, I recommend you to use the documentation. I know I'm repeating myself, but many people still don't know that there is a documentation. You can also find some tutorials here and all the stuff. If you want more scripting tutorials, be sure to subscribe, because I'm planning on making some more videos about scripting. Anyways, thank you guys really much for watching, and see you in the next video.